The Celestial Flame restaurant occupied the 73rd floor of the Imperial Spire, where only the most powerful beings in the Galactic Coalition dared to dine. Emperor Vexthor, Supreme Dragon Lord of the Crimson Dominion, had chosen this establishment for its discretion and its ability to accommodate beings of his considerable size. His scales, each the size of a dinner plate and gleaming like molten rubies, reflected the ambient lighting as he settled into their enforced dining platform. Beside him, partially hidden beneath his wing, sat his youngest hatchling, Sarakith. The child was small, even for her 3 cycles. Where other dragon youth already breathed practice flames and attempted first flights, Sarakith's wings remained folded and underdeveloped. Her left foreleg twisted at an angle that made walking painful. The Imperial physicians had used every word except the one that mattered. Disabled. Vexthor had spent centuries building an empire on strength. Dragons ruled the Crimson Dominion because they were apex predators, because their might was unquestioned. A weak hatchling was an impossibility he refused to acknowledge in public. Yet here, she was struggling, even to climb onto the cushioned platform beside him. "Your server will be with you momentarily," the Maitreya announced, his fore widening as he recognized the Emperor. He skewered away with obvious relief. Vexthor barely noticed. He was watching Sarakith try to position herself comfortably, her small chirps of pain carefully suppressed. Pride and shame whirred in his chest. Pride that she bore discomfort with stoic silence. Shame that his lineage had produced such fragility. The human appeared without fanfare. She was unremarkable by galactic standards. No scales, no wings, no natural armor. Her species had only joined the Coalition 40 standard years ago, and they remained a curiosity, too weak to compete physically, too short-lived to accumulate real wisdom, too fragile to matter in the grand scheme of cosmic power. Her name tag read Maya Chen in standard script. "Good evening, Your Majesty," she said, her voice pleasant but not obsequious. "And who is this beautiful young dragon?" Vexthor's eyes narrowed. Beautiful? The polite lie annoyed him more than honest acknowledgement of his daughter's condition would have. "My hatchling Sarakith," he rumbled. "We require—" He stopped. The human had knelt down, not in supplication to him, but to bring herself to eye level with Sarakith. The informality of it shocked him into silence. "Hello, Sarah," Mia said gently. "I love your scales. They're like little amethysts." Sarakith's eyes, which had been dull with exhaustion, brightened slightly. She chirped softly, in response. "I see you're having trouble with that cushion," Maya observed. "Would you like me to help? You get more comfortable? I promise I'm stronger than I look." Before Vexthor could object to a stranger touching his daughter, Sarakith had nodded eagerly. What happened next would replay in Vexthor's memory for the rest of his long life. The human didn't grab or lift carelessly. She spoke to Sarah throughout, explaining each movement. "I'm going to support your chest here. Tell me if anything hurts. Good. Now I'll help shift your weight." Her hands were small but precise, finding the exact points that would distribute Sarakith's weight without causing pain. Within moments, his hatchling was positioned perfectly, her twisted legs supported by carefully arranged cushions, her underdeveloped wings draped comfortably instead of pinned painfully beneath her body. Sarakith released a sound Vexthor hadn't heard in months, a trill of contentment. "There we go," Maya said, standing and brushing off her uniform. "My little brother has cerebral palsy. You learn how to help people get comfortable." She said it simply without drama or expectation of praise. Vexthor stared at her. "Your sibling is also disabled." "Yep, has been since birth. Doesn't stop him from being the smartest person I know. He's an astrophysicist now." Maya pulled out her data pad to take their order, completely unaware she had just detonated a bomb in the Emperor's worldview. But humans are already, so he struggled for a diplomatic word, physically limited. How does one with additional limitations survive, let alone thrive? Maya's eyebrow arched the same way anyone does, with support, adaptations, and the determination to not let other people's expectations define them. She glanced at Sarakith, who was listening intently. Also, some of the greatest human minds had disabilities. Stephen Hawking revolutionized physics from a wheelchair. Beethoven composed symphonies while deaf. Weakness in one area doesn't mean weakness overall. She took their order with efficient professionalism. But before she left, she did something unprecedented. She dressed Sarakith directly, not through her father. If you need anything during dinner, better positioning, something to drink, whatever, you just wave at me, okay? You're the customer, not just your dad. Sarakith's eyes went wide. Then she nodded, and for the first time in cycles, she smiled. Throughout dinner, Vexthor watched his daughter interact with the human server. Watched Maya treat her not as a broken thing to be pied or ignored, but as a person with agency and preferences. Watched Sarakith's posture change from hunched and apologetic to something closer to confidence. When the meal ended, Vexthor left a tip that exceeded the restaurant's monthly revenue. But he also did something more important. "Tell me about these adaptations your species creates," he commanded Maya. "These ways of supporting those with disabilities." Mia's smile was patient. "Well, Your Majesty, it starts with changing how you think about disability. It's not a flaw to be hidden. It's a different way of being that requires different support. And when you give people the right support, they can accomplish anything." 6 months later, the Crimson Dominion became the first empire to pass comprehensive disability rights legislation. Imperial funds poured into adaptive technology research. Dragon hatchlings with disabilities were no longer hidden in shame, but given their sources they needed to thrive. And Sarakith, the Emperor's daughter, became the symbol of a revolution, not despite her twisted leg and underdeveloped wings, but because she taught an empire that strength comes in many forms. All because a human waitress had seen a struggling child and done what humans dobust, adapted, supported, and cared. The dragons had ruled through might. But the humans, those fragile, short-lived beings, had taught them something their strength never could. That true power lies not in domination, but in lifting others up. Vexthor kept Maya's business card in his private chambers. On it she'd written a human saying, "In diversity there is strength." He finally understood what that meant.